it was a trip. And I have to tell you, if you're watching this hangout and you happen to be one of the people that bought my book, I want to say thank you from the very bottom of my heart, because there are 15 slots on the New York Times bestseller list, and I was number 14, so it was that close. So you may have been that person who pushed it over the edge, so thank you so much. And so I not only have become a New York Times bestseller, but I became an Amazon bestseller, LA Times bestseller, all the different indices. And I'm going to basically peel back that curtain and show everyone at the events how I made that happen. And what I came up with is so innovative. Nobody knows this stuff. There are ways to create a New York Times bestseller, but it's going to cost you about $250,000. We didn't do that. We bootstrapped the whole thing, and it cost me very little. And it was all just because we use brain power instead of financial power to make that happen, and it's an awesome story. So I look forward to sharing that blueprint with everyone at the events. It's really cool.
Sounds like my kind of power. So now I'm going to click on, you may not be able to see it, I'm going to make sure people tell me on the chat. I'm going to click on this little thing on the side, and what's happening, Daven, is they are looking at a beautiful picture of the tour bus of you and Bijal going on tour, and there's the link to the scholarship, and this is the button that takes you to the scholarship page. So I'd like to find out from some of you in the chat if you're seeing this button, because this is the first time I'm using this software. It's just called Webinar Jam, and I just want to make sure you see the offer. So I'm clicking now, drum roll, ta-da-da, and display the offer. So what I'd like to see, oh, I see it even here. I don't know if you can see it. No, probably you can't see it, right, Daven?
Yeah, I can't see it, but
so it's the Beyond Business Life scholarship application with that beautiful picture of the bus touring, and there's a button that clicks to open to a new window, and you can click and you can take care of the application a little later, right after this hangout. But this is Daven's gift for you, because Daven does really care about making a difference and helping people to live the lifestyle that he's being able to manifest for himself and his life. And now we're going to kind of switch gear and find out a little bit more about this event, and if you can start telling us, so what is this event all about?
Sure. Well, first of all, you can get all the details on the event by going to beyondbusinesslive.com. That's beyondbusinesslive.com, and I would suggest that's where you go first. So go there, check out the website, see the dates, and make sure that you can make one of the dates. And if you know that you can make one of those dates, then here will be the next step. Click on the link that Ishwari has just put in the chat, and Ishwari has just signed on as one of our sponsors. And so as a result, we've created a little scholarship, and you can come to Beyond Business Live as both of our guests. Now, what you'll have to do is you'll click on that link. We're going to ask you about 5 questions just to make sure that you're a serious entrepreneur, and then we will approve you. It'll say it'll take about 24 hours to get you approved, but we will get you approved, and you'll be able to come as our guest. Now, please don't register if you don't feel you can make it, because we only have a limited amount of these scholarship tickets available, and I want to keep them available for the people that are committed, the people that are actually going to show up and be there Friday morning for the event. So if that's you, so let's just recap it again real quick. First, go to beyondbusinesslive.com. That's beyondbusinesslive.com. You'll see tickets are normally $2,000 a piece. We do some discounts for $495, and there are some early bird tickets that are still available for as little as $97. But you can come as our guest, but only if you're serious. So look at the event, make sure that it resonates with you, make sure that you can make the dates, then click on the link that Ishwari's got up there. That's for the scholarship. Fill out the questions, give us your information, and you will get approved for the scholarship, and you and your guests will be able to come to Beyond Business Live as our guests. Now, the cool thing, too, is that not only do you get to come as our guest, but we're going to give you an ethical bribe for showing up. Because what's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people? The very simple principle is that successful people, they show up, they take action. It's very simple. And so we're going to reward you for showing up and taking action. And when you come to Beyond Business Live, if you stay through to the end of day one, we'll give you a week of free virtual assistant services at my company, 123 Employee. If you stay to the end of day two, we'll give you 2 weeks of service. And if you stay to the end of day three, we'll give you a month of free virtual assistant services at 123 Employee. It's a $546 value, absolutely free, just for being in attendance. There's no obligation, no contracts. We're just rewarding you for showing up and taking action.
Wow, that's an incredible offer. The scholarship, the free virtual assistant, I'm in. I hope everybody takes advantage of this. I'd like to know, because a lot of people has been going to many types of event, and there's those multi-speaker event, and there's so many events style per se. So how is your event different than the others?
Great question. So if you actually go to beyondbusinesslive.com, when you go to beyondbusinesslive.com, you'll see the video, and about 14 seconds in, you'll see this funny kind of thing that we do where it says this is not a multi-speaker sellathon, and it's not. Basically, you're stuck with myself and our VP Bijal Palmer for 3 days. It's a pure content event. I usually bring in a couple speakers just so you don't get totally bored of just watching me. But it's all content. It's a killer event, and you know, everybody loves Beyond Business Live. We just get rave reviews, and it's our highest privilege. You know, I'll tell you a funny story. When we first came up with a concept for Beyond Business Live, we worked very hard. We worked day and night for months creating this content. We wanted to make sure that it wasn't too advanced. We wanted to make sure it wasn't too easy. We wanted to make sure that it really benefited entrepreneurs. And we really labored hard over this, and so much so there was an extreme amount of sacrifice. My girlfriend and I broke up over it because I was that busy, but we ended up getting back together, so it worked out. And just a lot of challenges. And I remember the night before the first Beyond Business Live, I remember we were working till about 1 in the morning, doing our final tweaks, and I sat down next to Bijal. I was exhausted. I said, B, will we ever do this again? He said, absolutely not. It detracts from our core business. We will never do this again. And then we did the event, and it was an amazing event. But on Sunday, there was this X factor that we had never really accounted for, and that was we worked so hard, we created a great event, but what we hadn't accounted for is that somehow we were able to create transformation. And at the end of the event, people were laughing, people were crying. It was an amazing experience, and we were really touched and inspired. And so, the event, we ended the event, and I remember I plopped down next to Bijal exhausted. I turned to B, and I said, B, will we ever do this again? And he looked at me and said, how can we not? I said, I know. And at that point, we were hooked. And so we absolutely love doing it. It's our highest privilege. And I forgot what the question was. What was the question?
Yes. How was it different than the other events? But I think you talked about the transformation, the people getting so. Yeah, so that was a question.
Exactly. And you'll notice I'm moving, and that's because I'm going to plug in.
Okay, that's fine. Well, so I see that it takes in consideration some transformation. So maybe you want to share some of the marketing strategies / do you do any mindset content as well? What is covered?
You know, you're exposing my little secrets, Ishwari. So here's the scoop.
I just wanted to make them drool, so they can't wait to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what I've learned over the years is that success is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. Thanks, B. Hold on one quick second. I'm just going to plug in here. So what I've learned is over the years is that success is 80%. Mindset, 20% strategies. Now, I think everyone watching this probably knows that. That's what everybody is always telling you. The difference is, though, is that I think we all know that, but we don't feel it in our bones and really get it until you hit and have a certain level of success. And then you turn back and you realize it was mindset that got me there. And so if I had my way, I would do an event that was 80% mindset and 20% strategies. But I know that your viewers that are watching this wouldn't come, okay? And so that's why really the event is about 80+% strategies. But I do a little bit of mindset throughout the weekend, and people have some big breakthroughs, especially when you connect it with these incredible strategies, these business-changing, life-changing strategies. So together, it's a one-two punch, and it's very effective for people.
Okay, well, I noticed one of the sessions is called Daven's 8 Keys to Success. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do have a session called My 8 Keys. And the 8 keys, I was very fortunate. When I was really young, I sold as I told you about earlier, I sold my second business to Hal. And Hal was one of my heroes. He was a business maverick. He was an old guy. He was about 60 years old. He was bald. He looked like Telly Savalas. Ishwari, do you know who Telly Savalas is? Kojak?
Yes.
Yes, Kojak. Okay. And so he was this older dude, but he was like the coolest guy you ever met. He would take businesses that were distressed, and he would buy them, and then he would restructure them, make them successful, and then he'd take them public and cash out. And he did this over and over again. He was a super successful guy. Like I said, he owned 42 classic cars. He always had a beautiful woman on his arm. I think he was married about 6 times, and he always had the most amazing stories. And we all wanted to be like Hal when we grew up. So what happened was I sold my business to Hal, and when I sold my business to Hal, I was like, great, well, we're going to be best buds now. We're going to hang out all the time. This is going to be awesome. And that didn't happen, because when I sold the company to him, Hal had just met, I think, his sixth wife, and she was beautiful, and they just got along famously. He was very happy, and she had more money than he did, so he was ecstatic. And they were just getting married, and I remember, for the sale of my company, I remember Hal and his wife jumping into his bright red Cadillac Coupe de Ville convertible, and I watched them drive off into the sunset together with the top down. And I remember seeing that. I was like, that is so cool. And so we didn't really hang out much. Well, a year later, about a year and a half later, I went to pick up my check, and Hal's wife had some stomach pain, and 90 days later she was dead from pancreatic cancer. And it was very sad, and he was heartbroken. And it was the summer, and Hal and I found ourselves like we came together. And what happened was Hal was kind of, healing from the loss of his wife, and so he kind of had time on his hands. And for me, after I sold the company to Hal, I kind of semi-retired for a while, and so we were like these two bachelors with nothing to do, and so we would hang out each day. He'd call me up, "What are you doing?" I'd say, "I'm coming over." We'd go hang out by the pool, hit the gym, go out for dinner, have cigars, and then we go to the yacht club in the evening. And we were the oddest couple. We'd go to the yacht club picking up on girls, and we were the oddest couple. He's like this old guy, and I'm like a kid. But it didn't matter, because everybody loved Hal, young and old. Everybody wanted to hang out with Hal. And during that time, I spent every day with Hal. And the question is, did I pick his brain? And the answer is I did, big time. And he was very forthcoming, and he shared with me all his secrets in his businesses. And during that time, as he began to tell me more and more about each different company and the story and what happened and so on and so forth, I began to see patterns. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of successful friends in business. I had a lot of unsuccessful friends in business. And I remember I started to sort of take notes on this process, and I went to my unsuccessful friends in business, and I asked them about their business process. And there wasn't really much of a process. There wasn't really a system in place. And then I went to the few successful friends that I had in business, and I asked them about their business process, and they did have processes in place, and I began to see patterns. And I put together a formula, and that formula is my 8 keys to success. And I've used it in multiple businesses, in multiple industries over the years, with huge success. And I share the 8 keys at Beyond Business Live, but this time around, on this tour, it's going to be a little bit different. I've taken my 8 keys. I noticed that I've been using this 8-key formula over and over the same way for decades, but in the last several years, it's been different, because I've taken those 8 keys and I've used technology, and I've created technological systems that were molded around those 8 keys, and I didn't even realize it. One thing that I am, Ishwari, my guess is that this is not you. My guess is that you're a conscious competence person. You're able to map out systems and know what you're doing, so on and so forth. I'm unconscious competence, so I have a huge competency level, but you have to suck it out of me. So I'll do things and not realize that I've created systems. So I had taken my 8 keys and really put them into all these technologies, these funnels and so on and so forth that we use in our business. So this time around, I've tweaked up that presentation, and I'm showing it on a technology level, and I'm peeling back the curtain once again and showing like how I've done all this with technology. So it's a much different, brand new presentation, and it's very, very interesting stuff. So.
Can't wait to hear more about it. And what a good fortune to have such a successful mentor that you were able to hang out with,
Yeah.
and get all those secret strategy reveals. So I know that Bijal is next to you. Is it possible he pops his head so people can actually see him? I'd love to. Or
Sure.
is he not around?
Sure. Well, our VP Bijal, he was here a minute ago, but I asked him to find me a plug. So he found me a plug, and then he came and plugged me in, and he went back to the restaurant where everyone else is sitting. So he's over
Okay,
there.
got you. So why don't you just tell us about a little bit about him and what will he cover during the event?
Sure. Well, people often ask Bijal what he does at 123 Employee, and he always responds, "I do everything that Daven doesn't do." And if people ask me what I do, I say I do everything Bijal doesn't do. And I think that's why we have such a great relationship, because we don't step on each other's toes, which is interesting because we have very similar passions. We're both two kind of odd fellows in the respect that most people that are artistic, they lack business acumen. And most people that are very savvy in business generally have no artistic sense. Bijal and I, we're both artistic, and we have these logical, business savvies as well. And so in most scenarios, two people that are in a business together that have, similar passions and similar character traits generally step on each other's toes. I've seen that happen time and time again, but we don't. We're both able to, have separate tasks in the business, and he's passionate about what he does, and I'm passionate about what I do, and so it's a great relationship that works very well. So once again, at Beyond Business Live, Vishal will talk about everything I don't talk about. So what happens is I'll talk about a lot of technical and specific strategies, because one of the things that I'm responsible for at 123 Employees are marketing. Vishal's not. So I will basically share what we're doing. And we do the latest and greatest in marketing. What we do is so cutting edge. And it's for a couple of reasons, because we not only work with entrepreneurs all over the globe, but some of the biggest thought leaders and gurus on the planet. So we are privileged to see what they're doing behind the scenes, because we're responsible for what they do behind the scenes. We do all their marketing. And so we're able to take that stuff, we're able to test it, tweak it, one-up it. And so what we do is just beyond cutting edge. So at Beyond Business Live, I share with people exactly what we're doing, how they can do it for themselves and their business. And then Bijal comes in, and he talks more about lifestyle, because he and his family have had an amazing adventure over the last 18 months. They were living in San Diego for the last decade, as you know, as you guys had a chance to hang out. And being in his family, they had some citizenship challenges, and so they actually had to leave the country. And I begged him. I said, move to Costa Rica. We'll open a Spanish-speaking center. It's not too far away. But he's Indian by descent, although Bijal hadn't really spent much time in India. He's a Brit, but he is Indian by descent. And so he and his family packed up, sold everything. I didn't even pack. They just sold everything. And they moved to India. And they've had the most amazing adventure over the last 18 months, traveling the globe. And so Bijal talks about that. Now that you've got this business, how do you put it on autopilot? How do you create the lifestyle that truly juices you, the lifestyle of your dreams? And we call it the new wealth and freedom lifestyle. We coined this phrase several years ago, but the concept is, why wait till you're 60 or 70 and old to do all the things in life that you want to do? Why not just do them all? I mean, if you can grow your brick and mortar business and still do all this stuff now, what's stopping you from doing it? And so we've created what we call the new wealth and freedom lifestyle. And although I am responsible for customer service, operations, marketing in our business, I'm able to run our business, a brick and mortar business with hundreds and hundreds of employees, from a cell phone and laptop from some of the most exotic places in the planet. And what I want people to know who are watching this is that it's totally possible. And that's sort of what Bijal shares at the event. And then I do some mindset, and then we bring in a couple extra outside speakers to share some new technologies. And that's pretty much what happens.
That's pretty awesome and very inspiring. Now you talk about the lifestyle, but I've also heard that you don't advocate using your passion and creating a business about it. Is that correct?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell us
We
more.
Sure. So let me ask you a question, Ishwari. Would it be possible to have a business that, like for instance, you're incredibly passionate about yoga, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. But would it be possible to have a business that you run on a daily basis that you're passionate about? It is not your true life's calling, maybe, but it's a business that you're passionate about. You enjoy helping people. You get up every morning and you love to do it. Would it be plausible for you to run that business and at the same time follow your yoga pursuits?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. So that is what I mean. Now, some people, one of your businesses is funnel creation, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Now, of course, it would be possible that that's your absolute passion, and then God bless you, you found a business that is your absolute passion, and you're following and you're making money. But maybe yoga is your number one passion. It's your absolute passion. But what you currently do is great. You love helping entrepreneurs. You're able to make money doing that. So you run that business and you follow your passions at the same time. What I'm advocating is I meet people quite often that are following their passion and they're broke. And being broke will kill, it'll turn your passion into poop in a second. And so I advocate, following your passion if it's an income generator. If it's not, then find a
Mhm.
secondary passion, something that you can get behind and make money on while still growing your passion business. And hopefully at some point that'll get so big that, hey, maybe you can sell it and just follow your passions 100% of the time if that's your desire. Maybe you'll enjoy doing both. And there you go. And a perfect example is my business, running 123 Employee. I love what I do. I love our employees. I love our clients. My passion is teaching. My passion is speaking, empowering, teaching, even entertaining, making a difference in other people's lives. But you see, in my current business model, I get to do both. And so I'm passionate about 123, but I'm wildly passionate about making a difference in people's lives. But I get to have both.
Mhm.
And that is what we advocate.
That's great because it reminds me of a quote that I read recently. That's I forgot what it says per se, but it's to find the perfect balance between your passion and your market's need, and if you can balance out the two, so that if you're passionate and also it fills out someone's need, then you have a perfect balance in your business. So that's a
Yep,
little bit what you're saying.
I agree. Absolutely. Yep.
So, I was going to ask you just one more question about the event. I gave people the link. I hope they're all going to get more information and get the scholarship and get the offer. And just want to remember to people what Daven says, that uh, each day, I believe it's each day completed in their attendance, they get 1 week of free virtual assistant. Is that right?
That's correct. And when they stay for the end of day 3, rather than getting 3 weeks, they're going to get 4 weeks. So a month of free virtual assistant services when they stay all 3 days.
Okay, great. Did you also mention somewhere in the website that if you register for one event, you can go to any of the other events?
Yeah, actually, once you come to Beyond Business Live, you become alumni, and you can actually come to any of our events anytime you like. You have lifetime attendance. And the reason we do that is so many people come to our events, and a large majority of them decide to work with 123 Employee. That's, we enjoy doing this. It's our passion, but also we're in the business to make money. And so a lot of people come to our events, and they learn it, which is great. We want them to understand it, but then a lot of people decide to outsource it because it's not the highest and best use of their time. And so that's how we win as well. So what we've learned over the years, very early on, we learned that a better educated client is a more successful client. As we educate our clients, they stay longer, they make more money, they do better, they grow, and occasionally we have a home run. Somebody goes from like 0 employees to like 40 employees, and that's how we've been able to grow our business so rapidly. And so we want people to keep coming back. We want people to learn the latest and greatest. Beyond Business Live is dynamic. It changes from event to event as marketing changes. The one thing about marketing that I'm sure you'll agree is that it's not static. You always have to stay up on it or you're going to get lost behind. So when you come to our events, we want you to keep coming back, learning the latest and greatest, and then we want you to become a client and utilize what you've learned to take your business to the next level, because then we all win.
Exactly. That sounds like a perfect continuation. We're going to wrap it up. Anybody on the chat, if you have any question for Daven, it is a good time to do so. So you can just put them in the chat box, and then I will share with Daven about the question. But if not, the very last thing I would ask is, what are people at the end of the 3-day event? What do they come out? What is the one thing you want them to live with and to take away with them, and to be able to what would be the big change in their life out of their participation to the event?
Sure, sure. So there's a few shifts that we want to take place. One is we want you to learn the latest and greatest in marketing. We want you to learn how to generate unlimited leads for life in your business. Because once you get the lead thing down, once you get the business thing down, you can figure everything else out. So we want you generating a ton of business. And then we want you to stop working in your business like you have a job and start working on your business like you're the boss of the company and you're running the system, or the system runs itself. And then finally, we want to create a blueprint with you. We want you to leave with a blueprint. I mean, how many, if you're watching this, how many of you have gone to an event before, learned a great technology, went home and did nothing? And that happens all the time, right? Because we get busy, we get caught up, and that's just not acceptable with us. So at the end of the event, we're going to create a blueprint for you so that you know what the next step is. Not your 10-year plan, but what the next step is, so you can take that next step on Monday and move your business forward.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. So everybody who is listening, I hope you take advantage of that amazing event. And we're going to complete this live hangout. I don't see any question on the chat. Again, anyone who wants to ask a question to Daven, it's time to do this now. If not, Daven, what would be your last word before we go offline?
Well, I want to thank you all for watching this. I want to thank you for taking time out of your incredibly hectic schedules. I'm totally present to the fact that without you being here on this hangout, we'd be talking to each other, which is fun too. And I know that your time is incredibly precious, so I hope this is valuable for you. I look forward to meeting you live and in person at Beyond Business Live. And until next time, get out there and live your true life adventure. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you at Beyond Business Live very soon.
Excellent.
Bye now.
And we'll see you at the LA event, right, Ishwari?
I will be at the LA event for sure, yes.
Okay, great. All right, we'll see you all soon. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.